There must have been a time where you couldn't even go to a grocery store, right? Because you were on the cover of everything.
Those were the days, yeah. Now it's
fine.
No one cares. No, it's like people say, do you mind if, like, you know, you walk in somewhere and people rush to take your picture? It's like it's way worse when they don't, you know.
Hello, beautiful human. I'm Zach. That's Dan. We welcome to the studio for the first time ever, Gavin Rossdale.
Hey.
Hello.
Hi.
I'm surprised. I didn't want to I know you have a thing about shaking hands, so I was thank you for shaking my hand.
I do.
Yeah, you do, right? Like, because you're afraid of people shaking your hand which I have the same fear. Too strong of a grip.
People get excited and then, like, you got to go and play a show and you just, like, get crunched. I mean, you need to have a firm grip, like a good handshake is good, but it's a funny thing, isn't it? It's a funny custom because then if you think about it, you don't really need to touch at all.
No. By the way, we were okay with greeting from like a couple feet away, and
it felt appropriate to come and say hello, but it's a funny thing. Like, why do we do that? We do it so we make sure we're not holding weapons in our hands, right?
Yeah, that's where it comes from.
Is it really?
Yeah.
I never knew that.
But like, this is enough, you know. I can give you one of the Vegas dealer
Literally
things.
not planning to kill you.
Yeah, fine. Hello, hi. Yeah, we can figure out something new. Thanks for being here. Pretty surprising, eh? You have a greatest hits album that's coming. We every now and then we have people who have greatest hits albums on the show, and people have them at different stages of their careers. But it's an honor to have you here.
Thank you.
When I say greatest hits, what does that actually mean to you?
It just means a bunch of songs that we collected over the last 30 years that did well at radio, I suppose. I mean, that's what it is, these hit records. But with us, we're pretty lucky because it's like greatest DNA songs, you know, in the DNA of people's DNA. And that's a rarefied place to be. I never wanted to do greatest hits. I always thought it was like I don't know. I just like going forward. And that seems so revisionist that is the opposite. But I think that's my job is to want to push forward. And then like my manager's job is to say, now it's time for greatest hits. You should be smart. So the funny thing is people seem to like it. We did a small tour for the greatest hits like a little bit before Christmas. And where are we now? Yeah. Just a small run of like tertiary plays. It was just a real good energy to play those songs again, all those songs like that.
Is it the same energy you met in 93 or 92?
Yeah, it's the funny thing is about it is that I find I love it just as much as I always did. It's really weird. I think it's something to do with like being doing the right thing, doing the right job, that it doesn't really feel like that. And, you know, music's so magical and the effect you can have on people is so strong that I think about the audience and these people we're going to play to this summer. You know, it's fun because I've been off the road for a minute, you know, been at home and doing stuff and literally no one applauds at home. No congratulations, no volume. I do great things for my kids. Do they clap? No. But so I'm going to go on tour and get that applause and that love. My kids give me love, but they don't clap.
How do you tour today that's different than how you used to tour?
Definitely kind of more bougie about the hotels. You know, back in the day, it was just like if I got to share a room with a drum tech at the Embassy Suites, the fact I was in a hotel called Suites, I was like, it's pretty sweet, right? So just probably the kind of, you know, bougie standards of like kind of like, hey, you know, I don't really care that much, but we do have people definitely in the band who are like, you know, always changing rooms. I don't change rooms, but there's a lot of the view's not right, or the pillows are damp, or someone died in my bathroom, you know, kind of thing.
Sounds like real problems. What is what honest part of touring fuels you the most? Is it the adoration that you're getting that you lack at home?
No, I'm joking about that. They adore me at home. No, it's not that. I'm messing around. It's just literally that sound of an enormous crowd, just like that, you know, just that energy, that vibe, I think is what I really like. That's what it's just that sort of, it begins with that roar of the crowd and then the connection you can have with people or not, if you're not having a good show, just to connect with people. And I think that's what it is. The days I find quite hard. They're sort of like full of regret and like, a concern about being away. Like, oh my God, what am I doing? My life is away, and then at nighttime, it's all worth it. So, I think just yeah, it's just funny. I think it's just that thing of just putting yourself, when you put yourself in the right place and doing the right thing, that you yourself are intrinsically kind of content. That's what it is, probably.
What? How do you define today a bad show?
If you haven't kind of ignited the crowd, often with that, because at the end of the day, like I can go and see a show and I don't have to be bouncing around the place to think it's a great show, so I don't really mind that. I think it's a good question because most of the time we're pretty consistent. Wherever we're at, that's where we're at. But you have those certain nights where you just catch lightning, and you turn and the wind is right and the air is warm and the crowd are swaying, going crazy. And then another night you might play and somewhere and everyone's freezing and they're standing in the crowd and you can see they're physically cold. And so no matter what you do, it's not going to be as enjoyable as the show that's where they're really nice and warm. So things like that, outside influences. But the best thing about the band, I think, is that, like us or not, it's that bush is bush most nights. We don't really taper off or have any less thing. I mean, I'm always impressed, like, with the band, with Chris playing guitar and so intricate and so many notes and so many things that could go wrong that don't go wrong.
That's musicians.
I'm forever impressed. Well, you're always you're half an inch away from disaster. You know what I mean? Whoopsie, that's not the key.
That's crazy.
But that's the same for everyone. So.
But it's also, but it has to be a testament to the fact that you guys have been playing together for decades upon decades upon decades.
Yeah, I mean, obviously that is in it as muscle memory, but I think that's the best thing about touring. Some people hate it, some people love it. I love it because you can be kind of super OCD about every component of the show, and then how can you make it better the next night? What can you do? And it becomes a sort of interesting sort of quality control with yourself, with myself. How great can I sing? How can I make that right? Well, just pushing yourself to get the most out of it, really, as opposed to just sort of literally phoning it in and just waiting to get paid at the end of the tour. I think it's much more fun. It goes by far quicker and people have a better time if you're like just trying to it's so hard to surprise people and shock people, and you do that by being as the best version of yourself,
By being great.
Yeah, that's it.
What are you thinking?
In your eyes, when you're putting together like a greatest hits album, like in your eyes, what is Bush's greatest hit?
We just went off the chronology and the radio hits and numbers, like
Data?
top 40, yeah. It was weird because I didn't really have much to do with it in the set my manager was doing, and I was like, just do it chronologically. We left 4 hits off. And now, of course, like an idiot, I woke up idiot, and I go like, why are those songs not on there? It's like, because I wasn't pushing for them, like, fuck. So we just went off of data, the data-driven record.
And then
full of emotion, but the data for the songs on there.
I was say, and then why at the end did you put a Beatles cover on the album?
Brilliant, because that takes so much front. It's so ridiculous, isn't it? Like greatest hits. Again, yes, like that was so brilliant. I was like, are we allowed to do that? Because it was like, well, you need another song you haven't heard. People haven't heard. We recorded that. I said to my manager, is it a little strange that we include a Beatles song in the greatest hits package? I don't know, So I thought it was pretty funny, pretty ironic. It is a hit.
It definitely is. Come Together is definitely a big song.
It's so stupid, I know. Completely guilty of how dumb that is, but it's hilarious. We snuck that one in.
What does it mean, though, to do this? Because you really can't do a greatest hits album again. You know what I mean? Like, you can only do it once.
Right. Well, we have 4. So we have 4 that didn't get on. So we just, for an EP, we only need a couple more.
The greatest hits EP.
Yeah. Extended version. So, yeah, I mean, to be honest, I think the thing about it was we've just done a new record. So we have a new record that's kind of written and ready to go and recorded. We've got to finish the drums on it. But that is what's next, and the greatest hits was a really excellent way of celebrating the time what we've done, and having a new song, Nowhere to Go But Everywhere, putting a new song out, and then it leads into the tour. For the tour, there'll be a new song for the next record. It's a what do you call it? It's a line.
It's a cycle.
It's just cycles.
Wait, that's okay. Creating art at this rate it's a lot, right? So like, what does that schedule entail, and how do you write music today? And how do you see it compared to before, right? Like, is it therapeutic every time, or is it an obligation?
Oh my God, it's everything. It's all those things. And for me, I identify principally as a songwriter. That's my main job. If I was like, what do you do? I'm a songwriter. And it's like, so when I've written a song, it just feels so great, and I feel really like I've accomplished something. Like my day is like, yeah, feel really good about what's going on. And so I love writing new songs because music is so magical. I just have to hear someone's record and be like, oh man, that's so cool. And like, how would I do something in that vein, or how it inspires me? And so, you take the Beatles, the perfect example. I always use them as an example. If you take their songs and you just sort of look at your own songs and you realize the chasm between, you go, I can keep pushing. I got loads to go. I've got loads. I can lift more. Look at these songs that can be written. So I have a whole different perspective to it. When you're younger, you write with no horizon in sight. And you don't know what's going to happen in your life. You don't think about anything. Now, later on in your life, I'm like, okay, well, I haven't got that many records I can make still. So everything I have to do has to be so more focused. And I can't be sort of loose with it. Oh yeah, it'd be great. I used to be like, write songs and be like, well, that section's, is that good? I'd be like, oh, Chris will play on it. He'll make it great. And now I don't do that. I go, oh, I better make it great before he plays on it. So I just tightened up my act, a better editor as to how I write and what I do. And I'm just learning how to be an engineer, and that's really fun. So it just means I can, like, a lot of these songs I've written for this record, they start off from a really much stranger perspective, much stranger backing tracks than I've done before. So, I might have sort of strange, weird keyboards, bass lines, anything. I've few songs. My last song I just wrote was through two programs I learned about, and then I put one thing through the other, did it all wrong, switched it round on its head, and the basis of that track, this kind of very strange rhythm, is what I based the song on. So that's just a fun exploration.
So you're producing?
Yeah. I mean,
is this the first time ever? Like in terms of like actually like building a beat from scratch?
Well, I've always done that.
Is that like an instrument usually, or?
I began from the first songs were just like my little Alessis drum machine, which I still have, my HR-16. And then because I'd always go out of time, my verse would be the different time to the chorus. So I'd be like, gotta get yourself a drum machine, man. So I'd stay in time. And so I've always written to beats. And then now having my own studio, I used to have a bigger studio, and then I had an engineer, and I couldn't operate at all. So I would just wait for him, and this poor guy would sit around while I'd sort of fumble. To massage that into perspective better.
But not having an engineer around allows you to be vulnerable and creatively free in a way that maybe you weren't, right? Because in the back of your head, you're like, oh, am I wasting this guy's time, right? And also, like, I don't know if his obligation is to like creatively, kind of fire back at you, but.
Oh no, I get my guys, they're good. I just get them they just help me engineer I get, when I get the songs together, I have to go and see the producer we're working with and take the songs, and then my band, and so they have to go through big filters where everybody wants to change everything and everyone wants to attack everything, or get the best out of it. So I think in that stage when I'm at home, it should be just like what I'm thinking, and
Totally.
But I'm always open to someone saying something, and if you have an idea and then someone has a different idea, I always try it. We're pretty experimental like that.
What's the difference between good versus great?
Getting rid of the weak bits.
How do you tell what's weak?
You're just honest with yourself and be like, playing it to someone else. As soon as you play a song to someone else, you know the weak bits, because you start feeling like antsy about this section. Oh yeah, we're gonna, you defend it. People before they play this song. Oh yeah, but this isn't quite, that sort of thing. So you just have to be honest and just know what you're doing and be like I think of people like Francis Bacon who would destroy a painting. I love that. There's nothing better than like writing 3-4 things and then destroying one of them, because you just get rid of the extra surplus. You just sort of really like get into what you think might get past the committee. I have a committee that I've got to impress.
Does that get any easier when you bring them a record?
Well, no, because I've done it with situations where on the last record, so The Art of Survival, for example, I did the pre-production of my house and did what I was going to do. Then I take it in, and then the producer was moving the beat around a lot, and I was watching how it's moving around. So when I came to record this stuff, I remembered that, and I just made sure I just saved him the job of doing that. So I just did it, learned how to edit, and then when I went in this time, I noticed I was doing less of his shenanigans on it. Or magic, because I'd learned from him. It inspired me, so I learned how to do that. So it all comes down to just people want an easy life. Like if I go in with a great vocal, a great guitar sound, and a great beat, the producer might be like, "Oh no, you got that. That's a great moment. We don't have to record that." Right. So the last songs I've done, just record 10 songs with him. A few of the songs I had to record again, and a few of the songs he's like, "Oh no, I don't want to touch those guitars. You got a nice energy on those." So makes me my brain goes, "Okay, next time, just get them all right."
You see it as like you kind of have like it's almost like school a little bit.
Yeah, 100%. 100% have to get it past the teacher.
Is that how you like keep it fresh and still a challenge? Because you've been doing it for a long time.
Yeah, but I think that, as I said before, it's like, music is Mozart, music is Eric Satie, music is like freaking, whoever, Mastodon. So it's like so many people doing it in such an amazing way that it's limitless. It's just literally limitless. It's just about your imagination. So anytime you're lacking inspiration or lacking anything interesting, you just got to wait until it comes along. Sometimes I have to sit there for hours in my studio, playing round around a beat until I found something that makes me want to do something next. Like I might play a bass for a while, I might have a keyboard, anything. Just I will only commit something to record it, to then do the next bit on it if I think, yeah, that's super cool, and I want to come here and play it to you and feel good about it. It's not, I wouldn't do it. I wouldn't like sing on something that I wasn't super proud of, or didn't think it was that good. And I think I've just got better at being honest about it, like saying, yeah, that's not good enough.
Are there any elements to your creative process that were around when you made Come Down that still exist today?
Well, just the guitars. That was just sitting down and just trying to figure out how to write songs.
It was the first song you ever wrote.
Yeah. I'll tell you, the funny thing is that I did that, and it's got a certain chord change. And I did that same chord change on one of these songs. I thought, is that a bit lazy? It's a bit weird. I think it's okay, but it made the vocal work. And out of all the songs, when I recorded 10 songs with Chris, the guitar player and the producer, he goes, "Is that the right chord there?" And I was like, God, he totally bust me. Like fucking bust me. I was like, well, yeah, all right, yeah, no, so I'd made it a minor chord, and he's like, that doesn't, and I was like, and it's literally the one chord out of 10 songs that I just was like, I kind of took my foot off the gas and just was like, oh, I think this will be fine. And he nailed me. As soon as it was the first he heard it, I was like, note to self, don't do that next time. When you know that it's slightly vulnerable, just like continue until you think it's not vulnerable. It was brilliant. I was just like, fuck, he got me.
Interesting.
Yeah.
I mean, when you think of that record in particular, are you surprised by its success? Because like that is a life-changing song.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, the whole thing is, I know that there's a million people with a million bands that are better than we are in many ways, but somehow the synchronicity or the people we had around us, the timing, it's so much timing and having a fantastic team. It's not just like one, you wish it'd be one song, because I've written loads of songs. So I thought, come on, let's just got to break through. I did the song 1,000 Years and Amy from Evanescence sang on it. And we didn't do it, but we should have done it on the record. We did it for the deluxe. But I was like, oh, this is so great. It's just going to break through somehow. No, it didn't. It did not break through. So you just, I don't know, you just like, sometimes you get lucky and then you follow that luck. Or you precede that luck with like dedication and you follow it with dedication. And in the middle, you have that nice stroke of luck that connects with people. It's really that simple, I find. So you just got to keep, you can only control what you can control. So for us, the best we can be, and even when we've been great, we've many times not, the carousel's been in the dark, and so things haven't happened. But you can't do more than be the best you can be each day.
Hello, beautiful human. Every year, millions of gamers experience IGSS, inadequate gaming setup syndrome. Luckily, a cure has been found. You have to go beyond with the Vibrasonic mattress by Beyond Sleep. This thing has 6 built-in subwoofers, USB ports for charging, LED lights so you never stub your toe. It gives you an acoustic massage when you want it, plus adjustable degrees of comfort. This right here is the best way to game ever. Cure your IGSS today at BeyondSleepTech.com. A beautiful and really healthy way to look at it, but also a very interesting take, right? This idea that, like, it is luck, but then if you follow that luck with dedication, you could build something that is much larger than yourself, because Bush is larger than, it's huge.
Right.
It is woven into millions and millions of people's DNA.
Yeah.
But a part of that is, like, also this idea of being great and nobody noticing, but also doing something for so long where, like, your bad show is really just good. Does that make sense too?
Yeah,
like,
of course.
You know what I mean? Like, you can't, I feel it. Like, we've been doing this show. I've been doing this for 17 years, a long time. Not nearly as long as you as Bush, but close, pretty fucking close.
Pretty close.
It's crazy. It's wild, the consistency part of it. But
Thank you for having me on after 17 years. I'm so happy to be here.
To be honest, dude, you have no idea who we had on besides you. Mostly like pop divas and, pop artists,
Right.
genuinely of, the very, very diverse group. But
Nice.
yeah, it's crazy. Time and consistency though. And there's also vulnerability though in every song you've ever put out. Is that fair to say? At least that's on the greatest hits album.
I think, well, of course. I am vulnerable. I think we're all vulnerable. And even people that make out they're not vulnerable are probably even more vulnerable than they're saying. So, that's the thing. One thing I do think that I am proud of on reflection about the band is the consistency of not only the band, but I think lyrically, it's always, I found a way to connect with people, you can't claim to be, to people that like the band. And that's been from trying to be as open, as honest as possible. And people connect to that. And they reinforce that when I meet them. Because like you say about the DNA, like the soundtrack of people's lives and stuff like that. And that's such an incredible, thing to have. And I think what's been great is that sometimes the style of music has changed, but actually the lyrically it's changed the least, I feel, because the subject matter is always the same, of like the human condition, human struggle, challenges. It's quite hard, because I think it is quite hard and I think it is challenging. So I just literally try and reflect what I think. Sometimes I sit in my studio and I go, I can't think of anything. Well, so just say what you think. say what you say what's right there. We look up for answers way too far away from ourselves, and the answers are always so much closer. And so I'll just sit and just put the 3 complaints down, or 3 issues, 3 things that I'm thinking about outside of being in the studio. Why am I late for the studio? What this person might do? What did that person do? What do I hope for tomorrow? And then I just look at that, and then that elicits something to me, and there's a very stream of conscious. But I just always trying to be like, how honest is it? And I go back and I read it and I go, that's not true, or that's true. Build on that, and I just stepping stone the lyrics up to where, there's this record I've done now, and I really stand by it, and I think it's really great. I never know what the audience will be, and I don't know whether the carousel goes back into the dark, after the greatest hits was amazing. We got a new record. We're all good. I don't know. It's just about being, putting stuff out that's great and doing shows that shock people and just go, wow, this band is like crazy. Because I also have an amazing drummer, and having an amazing drummer is essential for every rock band. And so when people see us live, it's a very different thing than people anticipate, I think. They just think, yeah, it's way less sedentary than people might imagine. Like celebrating our greatest hits, but yet we play with a fire that kind of betrays the kind of celebration of the greatest hits. It's like, oh my God, they're playing like their lives depend on this, and the next meal depends on this song, and it's fucking on. And that's exciting. It's the best. It's the best way to be.
What fuels that? Like what fuels that energy on your end?
Just my desire for quality. Like, I'm perfectionist, meaning I'll never be perfect. I just aim to have quality. I think that, it's such a different world with the pop world, with the hip hop. I go, I don't know who does care about rock music anymore, but then I go play 60,000 people at festivals, and I say, well, they care. So might as well I make sure I want to reinforce the reason why they came. And I want to sometimes I love running in the crowds, and I cannot tell you how people are just like fired up, like just out of their minds. It's not like more than I am. Just like you get out in the crowd, they're like, just like, and then if you appear in front of them and you're there, and you come off the stage and you break that 4th wall and you go into the crowd and you're amongst people. I love doing that. I mean, funnily enough, whenever I've had shows where I don't think that I would say they're good, not great, and the audience are good but not great, I just go right in that crowd and I go right into the mosh pit and I just dance in the crowd with them and fly around and sing and hug people, and they hug me, and that just absolutely changes the dynamic. People are like suddenly, oh, okay, right, okay, let's go, let's do this, and it just ignites throughout the whole venue. It's an uplifting thing. I feel bad sometimes for the band, because you go in the crowd and then the band are just like on stage going, Jesus, how long is it going to be? But as long as we need it, to get to fire the crowd up, and it's exciting, people get excited.
Do you think about your catalog and the fact that it is so important in people's lives while you're releasing new music? Or do you really kind of detach from everything that was when you release something that is now?
Well, it's funny because, everyone's been obsessing, or as they should, or intrigued with the Rick Rubin interviews and his book on creativity. And he's an incredible guy. But this thing about you make music for yourself and not for other people, I don't connect with, in the sense that it's a combination for me. Lyrically, it's about myself, and I just hope it's universal. But actually, when I start, my eyes are shut, and I'm playing a beat, and I'm imagining I want to make a crowd just. I want to involve them. I want them to be really happy. I want the tempo to be suited to them. I want it to be exhilarating, uplifting, and I am thinking of the audience. And maybe that's wrong, but it's just how I do it. I think that if you think of the audience, like in the same way I don't play crazy, like weird, obtuse sets. I do lots of new songs and some deep cuts, but I don't trail off into 5 deep cuts in a row. So everyone's like, "What? Well, I'll get the beers," and then everyone leaves to go to the bar. You know, I'm always connected and thinking about an audience member. Like, what do I want when I go and see a show? What do I want? That's what I think that's really important.
Have you always thought that way?
Yeah, because I love going to shows, and so always with shows, for example, I'm always when I write set lists, I'm thinking, how do you do that middle bit? Literally, the kind of 45 minutes in where somebody volunteers to go get drinks. I just want to I don't want them to go get drinks. I want them to, I want them to watch the show. What is it when we all go and see shows? What is that lull? We're so excited by it. It's all great. And suddenly at about 3/4, suddenly you might look at your phone, you might talk to your friend, you might go get a drink. Like what is that gray area? Why does that happen? And so what songs can you put in that space so that people are like, oh, I'm not leaving now. And so I totally think about the crowd and it doesn't take away from my art or my creativity. It's just an added perspective that I find helpful.
It's interesting because there is psychology and methodology behind crafting the perfect set.
Yeah, of course. It's often tempo driven.
Yeah.
I'm going to come out and play, 3 mid-tempo songs to start the set. People are like, oh my God, what's happened? But at a certain point, if you've played 5 fast songs, people want something, you need to suddenly break up that tempo and you need to bring it back and then you hit it again. So it's always up. So maybe I'm wrong, but I am aware of the crowd because that's how we got there. Can't really have disdain for the audience. That's the people that got us there. That's how we're there.
The prompts are really interesting that you use to spark creativity and spark a song. I find that really interesting because it is very much still you, Just because you think of the audience doesn't mean that you're not making music for you.
No, of course, that's what I mean. It's a combination. I mean, I can't. I'm not fielding the audience for complaints or a list of issues they'd like to express. I have plenty of those myself. But I am thinking about their enjoyment and mainly how to not lose them. Like, how do you not lose someone,
Yeah.
But we all have different ways to get there. At the end of the day, all that matters is that you're as excellent as you can be. So that's the best thing about this job. There's no sort of, there's no particular roadmap for it. There's lots of different ways to do it. It's got to end with making people excited. See, for me, it doesn't end with me going, I'm so proud of myself and this song and I'm so great. It ends with, look, that person's mind is blown and they love it. When I see girls singing, girls, you're in control, not the government, that fills me with joy because I wrote it for them, and so I see people singing that. That's moving to me. That's like, okay, that was a good day to think of that.
Were you always confident that you'd have a successful career in music, or were there times you're like, maybe this isn't for me?
Well, both.
Okay.
Well, at times, it's a long time. I spent a lot of time before Bush failing and getting told no, and it wasn't easy. It wasn't like I just waltzed in and got a deal and stuff. So I got mainly turned down and by all the record companies in England, and then got this lucky break of someone passing a video of us from a TV show in England to a guy out here in a small record label in the Valley. I didn't even know what the Valley was. I was in London and they were like, you're signing the Valley, and everyone was like, oh my God, don't do it. And I was like, yeah, trouble is we haven't got any alternatives. So what do you do if there's no alternative? You go for it and you just hope that it works out. And then it fell through that we got dropped from our distribution deal. So we made the record, then lost distribution. And then I went back to work, and I worked for 3 months back to work, just doing a day job just to make money. And then it was the song was on K-Rock. And I was like, that's amazing. What's K-Rock? I was in London. I didn't know any of this stuff. And then that's how it began. And so, it's all everything by the skin of your teeth. It's the way of life.
Wait, that's really wild. Do you know how it got to K-Rock?
Well, yeah, because the guy that we were signed, the label we were signed to, they took it there, but there was no distribution. And we got dropped, actively dropped. But they played that record at Hollywood Records, and they said there's no singles, not only no singles, no album tracks on 16 Stone. So we got dropped. So it just shows you, when you get told no, it doesn't mean anything. It just means that person that told you no. It doesn't necessarily have an exact bearing on what you're presenting. It has an exact bearing on the person who gives you the comments on it. But does it really reflect what you've done? Sometimes, sometimes not. And in that case, they were completely wrong. But it is Disney, and they weren't meant to have a great label.
Totally.
I was more than happy to not be on Disney. It was not a cool label to be on for me. You know what I mean? There's a bit.
Bush and Hollywood Records just don't seem like a partnership that would work.
It didn't.
No, and it's weird. Like I think they had Breaking Benjamin too at the time, and like they had like weird like like a couple weird random rock groups, I believe, like the most random lineup. But that's so wild. So
it's crazy that they said 16 Stone had no hits on it. And now like
idiots.
Over half the album
no album tracks. So apparently Comedown's not an album track.
Wait, so go start from
Glycerine's
scratch.
not an album track. Come on, it's an album track. Put it at the end of an album. Maybe not on a Beatles record. I don't know.
I mean,
but it's just the way of life. It's a really good lesson, and like you just you got to keep going, because everyone's vulnerable. We were talking about vulnerability earlier. Anyone signing anyone, especially nowadays, if anyone signing you is putting their own job on the line, their own neck on the line. So it's a really tricky thing for getting to people, for people to believe in you. It's just hard. I mean, I feel so bad for young bands trying to get through. It's just with no one buying records and just streaming, where you get ripped off as you ever were, and no tour support. It's rough. It's really rough. It's really rough.
As somebody whose musical life was changed via the radio, what do you think of what is equivalent to tastemakership today, which is like TikTok? Mm-hmm. I mean, it couldn't be more different, yet very much the same in terms of its effects.
Yeah, it's just the problem I find with it is that it's a bit more fleeting. You know, nothing sustains. So it's like, yeah, you can have I heard an interesting thing that Diplo was saying the other day, who I think is, super talented guy, and he was saying that all the hits of his that had been like the songs that got onto TikTok were just got there inadvertently, and when he tried to sit down and craft songs or 20-second songs that would go on, he said he never got it, so he never quite could understand the juice. So it's again that synchronicity. I think it's just a shame that everything is just this kind of the fast turnover of culture. It's so whittled down with attention spans that it's a bit of a shame that things are just like 20 seconds of make it happen. But that's how it is. So got to just deal with it. Do 23-second songs.
But then at the same time, the 23 seconds needs to lead to a song that people actually want to listen to, so then they actually stream it. But then on top of that, you need to already have a good enough discography attached to your profiles to make it even worthwhile becoming a fan, right? Like, we're going to look at a time where we'll do studies on like what 2019 to 2021, 2022 really was. But we've seen more one-hit wonders during that time than we've seen in a long time. Mm-hmm. Because
the turnover. Right.
Oh my God, crazy. And nobody had the goods to back it up. Nobody could perform a live show. Right. Nobody could write another fucking song. Right. Nobody had enough of a discography to like really do anything. And the ones that do, like you're seeing it now, like Benson Boone is incredibly gifted and talented. And he's hitting his biggest moment now after having some virality, but also having a great discography to back it up. It's really wild. Like the psychology of TikTok and its relationship with culture and music in particular.
What gets me is you see these the footage, or we've all seen it on Instagram, of Chinese kids at the school and how they're learning and the organization of them, and it just somehow something manipulative about TikTok that just destroys people's attention spans, kids' attention spans. Mm-hmm. And it encourages that. It continues to encourage that. It's almost like this. I'm not a conspiracy theorist at all.
So are you saying that China is raising their kids to be smarter and brighter than us while also at the same time training our youth to be
That's
inferior
exactly
to
what I'm
them?
saying. That's exactly what I'm saying. And I
Honestly,
think that's
it's
so sad.
actually could be the future of warfare. So wrap your mind around it.
But it
It is.
we are desensitized and we get dumbed down for 20 seconds. Meanwhile, they're very famous for incredible programs at their schools and development of their kids that we don't see here, because I have kids and they're not in those kind of programs. I would love them to be in those.
And I'm
kind of
sure you
programs.
send them to pretty great schools.
Yeah, I
And
mean, the schools that do their best, but the onus is on. It's funny because I was talking about this yesterday with another parent, because my kids had a play date, and the emphasis is always on. Like, they were complaining because at this football match, like, the referee came on and the other coach came on and he was shouting, and our parents were, everyone's up in arms and how this is going on, and I was like, good. Have the kids have some interference with this coach coming on. Give them a hard time. We can't create these like false realities for our kids where nothing goes wrong. Every call is in your favor. No one's going to bug you. Life's going to be perfect. And oh, look, here's life. Oh, I'm so sorry. It's shitty and people are going to trample all over you and it's cutthroat. So I think a little bit of that. I was like pleased. And I didn't want my kids or my kid is involved. He's all upset about that. I was like, don't worry about that, ref. Just you do your job. What are you worried about him, or what about the calls? Oh my God, you're going to get calls for you against you. Just stop. Just make sure everything that you have to do goes right. That's it. And so we kind of, I get this feeling sometimes that the kids, they're so soft. Sort of like, oh, is Charlie all right? Don't worry. It's such great participation. You had fun. Don't worry. If you think about it, they scored 3 goals that you didn't. That's the only difference between the teams.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah.
What?
Yeah. Well, think about it. So
No, losing is a part of how we fucking navigate this life.
Right.
Loss is everything.
what
It's
can we
in
do?
everything.
What do you do to get over it? Not.
But the only way you win is by losing.
Yeah. Exactly.
So-
and most people. I went to a school with my kids. In fact, Dave Grohl also. He went there and. His daughters and Paul Stanley. So assembly was hilarious. It was just like all these good people. But they had this one song we're based on we're number one, because we're the best, number one, we're number one. And I'd be sat at the back going, isn't MIT the number one? I mean, are you number 2 or 3? But no, you're not the best. Why are you saying you're the best? What is this concept about you have to be the best? Because you're not the best. Why are you telling everyone that you're the best?
No, accepting reality.
Yes.
That is what is
It's okay
best.
to it's okay to say you're not MIT.
That's pretty wild, eh?
Yeah. I just always, whenever I'd like sort of hum it reluctantly every morning. I'd be like, well, why are my kids singing this? It's just not fair. It's a really lovely school in the Valley. Really nice school. And it's really good. We're a really good school. They should sing that song. Absolutely. But you're not number one. It's just a funny concept of like, flooding with their kids, and when they realize that they're not number one, they're so distraught and lost and adrift.
Devil's advocate. Maybe it's manifesting. You know what I mean? It's aspirational. They're singing it into existence while also
going
working
for number
towards
one.
it.
Yeah, but the
But
problem
also
is
maybe-
obviously, most people aren't number one, so
Just accept where
right?
you're at.
Am I right?
You're right.
You did an interview recently where you said you've never written a song about your kids. Speaking of them,
Correct. That'd
Why
be
is that?
terrible. Why would I?
Does being a dad at least make its way into the creative anything?
No, like I've said this before. God, no. That's a terrible idea. I'm way too self-obsessed. I've got too many problems, too many complaints first. No, I think the thing is that I've said this before, so I apologize if anyone hears this and they haven't said it. But with the kids thing, what they do is they just set the standard, whereby I don't want to suck. I want to do a good record, so that if their friends play it, they don't say, "Oh my God, your dad sucks. This record's terrible." I want them to be like, "Wow, this is cool. Can I come to your house?" I want my kids to be impressed by me. Now they're really good musicians, which ups the ante. They're all really good.
That's crazy.
And they play around the house. It's always like the fucking guitar center of my house. Can everybody play in the same key? You know? But it's so cool because my 17-year-old son is an amazing singer and a really good songwriter, and he's doing a showcase coming up for a bunch of some managers, I think, and they were looking for a bass player. So I was like, why didn't you get his brother's 15, and he plays good guitar for the last 6 months. He's been playing. I was like, get your brother. So literally, he didn't want to at first. Obviously, the older brother's like, you can't play bass. I was like, he Sid Vicious learned it in a night. It's fine. We're going to make this work because he plays guitar. And it was the greatest night of my life. On Saturday night, they played together. I was like, I filmed them. I was like, it was the greatest thing that ever happened to me. And it's so sweet seeing my young son. He's really good on the bass and he's really studious. He's really learned the songs. And they're just for showcases, but it's so cool. So that's the coolest thing. That makes me really happy.
That's so special.
Super special. That was incredible. And they sound great. The songs are great. They play together. They're playing in the garage. I've got in my garage. And so my youngest son is like trying to watch a movie going. He's got either my youngest middle son, Zuma, plays like he's obsessed with Stevie Ray Vaughan. So he's playing Hendrix or Stevie Ray Vaughan. You know, he's getting there.
Holy.
But no, he's getting there. He's really good. For 6 months, I mean, he's 15. It's incredible. And he sings Zach Bryan songs. He loves country. He's really good. He's really amazing. And so he's either playing Stevie upstairs, and so or like acoustic to me, and my youngest is like, oh my God, I can't think. Now they got the drums. Now they're playing full band rehearsals in the garage. So the house is like, and I'm like, this is amazing. It's so funny.
What is it like when your oldest has the conversation with you and goes like, I want to bring on a manager, like do this in a legitimate fashion that is, I mean, feels very real to you and very real to everybody else.
Yeah, he's incredibly impressive, and he's just like, what I like about it is that he hasn't asked me about it too much. Oh, he's really inspired. He's got loads of my guitars in his room and all my pedals or my pedal board, so I can help the sound. You know, when the band came in, I'm the sound guy. I was leveling the sound, balancing the sound, so they have a fair shot sounding good. You know, because I was like, guys, let me help you. This is not, one at a time, right? Let's do this one at a time. And then I left because I didn't want to be Tiger Dad, but I was just like so happy. But it blows my mind because they're just really good. And they're doing it, and they're just doing their thing. And it wasn't me. They're not jamming with me. They're not, I show them some things sometimes if they ask me, but not much. They generally do it on their own, which I think is cooler. They use my guitar teacher. Well, one does. The other one doesn't want to use my guitar teacher. Says, no, I got my own guitar teacher. Okay, cool. Each to their own,
That is wild. Also wild to, like, I don't know, create something like a human being out of nothing and to watch them turn into, I mean, really what could be what will be incredibly talented individuals that, like.
Yeah, I mean, you never know what people are going to do with it. I mean, it's not really about, I don't look at it as if that's going to be their big career, because I don't know how they would do that. One of them wants to make it a big career, and the other, I think, would like to make it his big career, but he's also going to play in the NFL since he was 6 years old. So we always talk about two of them are just going to the NFL. Now, I don't know if they're going to the NFL, but why not? Dad, do you think I can go to the NFL? Absolutely. I mean, you might need to work at, really, really hard, but there's no reason why you can't. So we've always based their life on going to the NFL. So I don't know if he's going to, but maybe he wants to be a singer now. He's a really good singer. So anyhow, watching them play and watching them rehearse that was almost the happiest I've ever been the other night when I saw that. I was like, oh my God, they're doing it.
In those moments, like, everything really does become worth it, and also takes on, like, just.
All becomes worth it.
It's really fucking cool. What are you thinking?
Well, you were saying earlier that you guys have a new record, but you got to finish the drums. But it's funny because, like, one of your biggest songs, Glycerine, doesn't even have drums on it.
Right, yeah, so I'd be well-minded to just follow that and just get rid of the drums. if we didn't have a drummer, we'd be massive.
Yeah.
We play stadiums.
Did you guys ever put drums on that song originally, or was it always drumless?
There was, weirdly, we did record, we were planning to put drums on it, and we ended up not, because when I recorded the vocals. But it's funny because if you listen to the recording, the second chorus, when the heavy guitar comes in, that was to accommodate drums. And I don't quite know why in the mix it's as if the drums were there, because you'd say, well, because already it's weird that it's on quite a distorted guitar. You know, it's not on an acoustic or something. And then what's even weirder is that it's this heavy guitar, then suddenly it goes into an even heavier guitar in the second chorus, and so it's like they took the drums out, but they didn't just bring their guitar down and say, "Sorry, there's nothing to accentuate there." But so we kept that in there. So yeah, and we've done it live. Sometimes we put the drums in as a laugh. Corey, the bass player, just did the most incredible remix of it. An unbelievable remix of the song, like incredible, really, really cool. So I wonder if we should not do that live. It's super weird and tricked out. It's really impressive. I don't know why he didn't do it sooner.
But when you say you may do that live, does that ever take you back to like, what does the audience want? Does the audience want to hear the new remix version, or do they want to hear the original?
Good point. That's probably why I'll be voted down on that. It's probably why I won't get my wish. But I was like, could we do that? Or the other one is to some nights do it. Just don't have to do it every night like that. Just sometimes bring it out. It's well worth it, because it's a fantastic version, and it's still mellow, but it's got drums, and it's just weird and cool. It's almost more Euro. It's like a Euro smash stuff. It's like a Euro smash.
Do you know what, like, have you been able to figure out why that song's a hit?
Just because I think that the emotion behind it was one that people connected to, and just maybe I'm never alone, but I'm alone all the time. You know, it's just you, me and our old friend Fear. There's these lines that I think people connect to. If you say, I must be your skin that I'm sinking in. Just everyone's had that feeling of like when you're super first, or if you have a sustained relationship, beautiful. When you really, truly just really, really, really madly in love with someone, or just in love with someone, anyone can relate to that line. It's just such a simple thing to think about. And so it goes back to, I think that it's just people still don't, use glycerine soap, or for me it was nitroglycerine. That was the genesis of it. It wasn't like soap or anything. So that was even a sort of maybe not the line that made people feel as much as if, about alone. I mean, this whole mental health thing that obviously we are much more focused on now than, say, 20, 30 years ago, right?
Yeah, a little
bit. But yet those songs have all mental health aspects in them, so they could be your sort of secret sauce for you to sit and listen to. I've had so many dudes say to me, "I've got to thank you, man. That's the first slow song I ever listened to. It's the first time I ever listened to lyrics in a song. First time I stopped moshing and thought about what could this song be about." And so again, it comes into this like getting into people's. I mean, Come Down. I was lucky enough to have that line. I don't want to come back down from this cloud. That's like, anytime you are happy and doing anything, that's an applicable line that you could say to yourself.
When you say I'm lucky enough to have that line, meaning like anybody else could have thought it was just timing, or what does that really mean?
Well, lucky that, so, like if you go into the discussion of how do I think of things? How do I have all these words that just come out? And so there's a degree of luck that I thought of that. I think. I don't know I can't really explain it. I don't look at it like divine intervention or it's a gift. I'm a vessel. Oh God, kill me. I'm not a vessel. I just sort of think of things.
I feel like, honestly, Glycerin, Come Down, a lot of these songs, they're ripe for a viral cover. Have you gotten sample requests? Do you turn down because people have to ask permission before they do those things?
No, we get lots of things. To be honest, actually, I was always surprised there wasn't a bit more. I would have liked more. You know, I love hearing people doing versions of songs. It's such a big compliment that someone takes the time out of what you've written to kind of reinterpret, do their thing on it. It's so cool. I wish there was more, but you can't really say that. Like, would anybody like to record this song?
The Simpsons did it.
They did. That was the greatest compliment of all. That's a huge compliment.
I think it was called
Huge.
Margarine.
Margarine. Yeah.
Margarine.
And a massive compliment. And we get, you know, I get lots of fan videos of people doing the songs. I love it. It's such a, you know, I love sitting and doing, I do lots of covers, and it's a really fun thing of really getting in someone else's brain and how they write. And songs always get better when you check it out. Because I think that you can change the music, and you should reinterpret the music a little bit and do something different. But the melody, the top line, that's sacrosanct. So whenever I've done a cover, more or less, I think I've done it verbatim how it's written. But yet when I do it, it sounds completely different. It's the weirdest thing. So the three of us will sing the same song, same way, same notes, same everything, and yet it will sound like three different versions.
Emotion, experience, so much funnels into it.
It's just different. We're just humans. We just do things differently. And so, but I love doing covers.
Art's wild. You can listen to Bush's greatest hits album, by the way. It's all on Amazon Music.
Art can save us.
Yeah, all of the catalog is there for you, waiting below. Click the link.
If you're writing all the music for Bush, why did you want to go do a solo record?
Well, first off, I'm more collaborative now. I did more in the last incarnation of Bush. There's been two. So with this, you know, the other guys like to write, so they send me music. Sometimes I'll sing, do top lines. On this record, I just wrote a bunch of the songs, and so I did 8 of the songs, and 2 I wrote with a producer, where I just do the top line. I do a bit of music with it, but it's like having a day off. It's like easy street. I just go, I'll sing on that. What was the question?
Was there something like, did you have to release Wanderlust because you didn't think it was something you could do as a Bush album?
That's right. No, that's the question about that. The band wanted a break because the guitar player Nigel felt that he had missed his kids growing up, which he had because we worked really hard and we were away a lot. So they wanted to take a little break, and then I thought I did a side project, Institute, but that then took longer to write because I was on Interscope with Jimmy Iovine, and so it was like they wanted it to be this massive band, and I was like, this is meant to be a side project. This is meant to show my creativity. Why am I not on Matador Records? Why, you know, they understand it. They do side. Chino does Churches and whatever, the Sleep. What's the other band? Team Sleep. But they're just like records he does, and then maybe does 2 shows and that's it. Mm-hmm. I did it when I was on Interscope and being, you know, there, and suddenly it was this big hiatus. So I did a side project to invigorate the creativity and trying to look good doing the creative, you know, being super creative. And then when I came back after that, they said they still would want time off. And so I had a bunch of songs, and I did the solo record, which I regret because it was a waste of time. And I should have just continued doing Bush. I shouldn't have done Institute. I shouldn't have done the solo record. Like, it's not regret. It's like, okay, if I reflected on it, was that the right decision? I don't think it was the right decision now, but it was the decision that I made at the time. I learned the hard way that I don't think people in bands, apart from Jerry Cantrell, because he's coming on tour with us, and he should do a solo career. I just think that people want to see singers, that people want to see me most in Bush. Mm-hmm. They don't want me to do a solo record. They don't want that.
What do you wish you did with that time instead?
Just continue with Bush and just continue to consolidate the band and be consistent. So you just, you know, I mean, you look at someone like Pearl Jam, who've had a fantastic career and fantastic songs, and they've always just been Pearl Jam and doing the thing and just bringing out. I'm probably wrong. I'm sure Eddie had a solo record. Did he? Probably did. Yeah, he did. He did the film music, so he's done a great record for that. But that was for the movie, right? Into the Wild.
Into the Wild was his debut solo album.
Yeah. But the only solo record, right? Which is a fabulous record. But it's just like, I think in bands, with rock bands, you know, keep it simple. The world is so it's hard enough to get people's attention with Bush. So the idea of, sometimes people say, oh, so I'm doing a new record, is that Gavin or is that Bush? I said, oh, Bush. I can't, Jesus, can't do that. That's exhausting to try and think about how to brand that and get that going again. And just, I didn't like it. I like the camaraderie of a band. I like it.
I get it for so many reasons, but also there's only going to ever be one Bush. You know, like there's so much that goes into that.
And it deserves to get all the best songs I can think of.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah.
I get that. And that is like an egoless position, but that takes time to obviously come to full terms with. But it is like this idea that collectively you all are in something so much bigger than any one person.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, I'm so lucky because I write songs that I think are as cool as I can write, but then when I'm playing with a band and there's, you know, it's all that, and then, you know, the way that they play in the studio, Corey, Chris, they're supreme musicians. I mean, they're really, really, really good. So having them on the stuff, it just suddenly, you know, it's sort of, they're like the best Kinesio tape ever.
Yeah, there's only going to be one of that. But like one in a trillion, genuinely.
Right, thank you. So we keep on.
What are you thinking?
I feel like I could just look this up, but like, why did you guys decide on Bush after? Because it was a different name first, right?
Yeah, it began as Future Primitive.
Yes.
Which was a weird name. Band names are so hard. When you're young, you just come up with the worst band names.
That's what I mean. Like Bush, you hear Bush now, you think, yeah, it's Bush. But then if you're thinking of a band name, like Bush, it's just like, where'd you come up with Bush?
I was not born as Shepherd's Bush. My mum got mugged there when I was with her once, when I was a kid. So I always want to get my revenge on that dump. It is a dump. Gentrified a bit, but it's still a dump. There's a freeway when you come out of centre of London and go up, and it says the sign, it says Shepherd's Bush. And I was driving, and we were doing the artwork for the record, having recorded, and I just saw the word Bush, and I thought, what a great word.
Yeah.
It's a great word. It satisfies many, many meanings. It's multi-meaning, multi-layered, and it's cool, and it's snappy, and that was it. And then when we sent it off and we started doing the artwork, it was like, oh, that should be the, you know. So it's not like we had a major big following in Camden, North London. We played in the clubs, in the pubs there, Friday nights, Saturday nights. So it wasn't like we don't have that lovely history of like, oh look, this is Bush when they're playing there, because we were like, it's actually a different band then. So that's how that goes. But yeah, it seemed to be worked out like that. Interestingly, fun fact, Dave Carson was at Raygun. Raygun was a great magazine, great design magazine, Marvin Jarrett's magazine, and so we approached them. Dave Carson did the artwork. Then come full circle, I met Marvin Jarrett, became a buddy with him, and he had Nylon and a bunch of magazines. He has Marvin magazine, and he was like, "Well, yeah, Dave Carson was cool, but you know, Raygun, we had there's a few people at Raygun, so I went back to Raygun and got they did the artwork for this record now.
Full circle.
Full
what?
circle. Yeah.
Why? Why now? I mean, obviously
because it was
Greatest
like I met Marvin and was discussing it, and just decided to go for. I was like, it felt right. I believe in. I don't believe in much. I'm not that spiritual. Definitely not religious. But I do believe in synchronicity and sort of the energy and the way that you meet people, and you know, I believe in synchronicity. And so meeting Marvin and getting told about what was going on at Raygun, and then it was like, well, let's do the greatest hits there, you know. So we did that, and it's been really good.
That's pretty cool. It's like, I don't know.
I love the artwork. All our artwork has been with, I've tried to always find really good people. The only time ever the one that wasn't that good was I was at Atlantic for 5 minutes. It was a waste of time. And I did one record with them. And we did the artwork in-house because I'd done picture of Jasper Johns, the white flag. I'd done the British flag in exactly the same wax encaustic, which I thought was I was quite proud of that idea. And the Atlantic, they got nervous about the I don't know, being sued by Jasper Johns' estate. It's like weird. So then we got the plane. It was Golden State, and then it was like that's when 9/11 happened. So there was like we can't have a plane on the cover. So then we went to a gold cover. So that was the simplest one that I did with the in-house guy. But everyone, Martin or Gautier, who was a nice guy, but everyone else has been really, every record's been really, really highfalutin.
Do you give them prompts? Like, what do you do?
Yeah, I always say, do your thing. And then they do the thing, and then I go, okay, what else can we do? And then we discuss it. I give options, but it just comes down. I love the artwork people that it's such a fun aspect for me, and that's what thing I love the most about vinyl. Is not like the kind of the sound is so much better, although it is. The artwork is so much bigger. When I was a kid, like artwork was everything. You get a record and you look at the thank yous, and you just think, who's this band hanging out with? Who's the lucky people hanging out with this band? Look at the thank yous, and then look at the track listing and then the lyrics. And I'd sit and pore over the lyrics as I would listen to new records. I still do that. When I get a new record, I always just scroll through the lyrics as the song's going by.
That's
because I'm a lyricist, so I'm intrigued as to what people sing about.
Are you fascinated by celebrity today? As somebody who navigated celebrity during one of the craziest times in cultural history, like physically insane, intense.
Yeah, I do. Yeah, it's wild. You know how it works. Obviously we're in the eye of the storm of the three rappers all dissing each other. Diss track world, diss track month.
Yeah.
It's just and the seriousness of it, and like how that all works and how that comes about, and just highlighting hip hop's dominance. I mean, look at that. There's sort of diss tracks are main news. They're on the news. The news.
I mean, there's a lot going on around it.
Yeah.
Think about it. I mean, there's a lot of connections to people. It is wild when you really take a look at like the web that it's attached to. It's really revealing. Kind of scary.
Yeah, I think that with all those people, the big three or the big one, whatever it is, whoever they are, they all make amazing music, and it's a bit strange how they give a fuck about. But then again, sort of respect and disrespect are very big in the culture. So, but for me, I'm not sure if isn't best to. They're all individually, by the way, all those artists, the big three, sort of, per se, are like, they have such amazing tracks that's what, it's like, the biggest diss is to have a big song. The biggest diss is to be the most successful, isn't it?
Yeah.
Because it's like a kind diss. It's like, oh yeah. And then be number one. I mean, Drake is phenomenal. He just brings out brilliant single after brilliant single.
Kendrick is pretty great himself. It is a lot.
All of them are pretty good. All of them are good. So I don't quite get the whole thing about how they're, because it'd be much easier to diss rappers who have no success, than people who have of those three, they are. I had listened to all those three records.
It's wild. It's a time to be alive, but also like there's a different level of celebrity today. Right? Like people find influencers the same as, you and Gwen in like the mid 2000s, early 2000s. Like those are the people who have garnered the same amount of notoriety and
people on The Bachelor.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
No, not Bachelor. That's okay. Dude, please. You guys are
the Golden Bachelor. Where did it all go wrong?
Jerry's a piece of shit, but that's a story for another day.
Yeah. It's just wild. It's almost like there's these spaces to fill, brackets.
It's true, right?
And it's like, oh shit, well, put the brackets in, and people need that sustenance in their lives to take away from the drudgery of the pain, the struggle of their own lives. It's a good way of taking people's eye off maybe what they could be looking at.
Oh, 100%. I mean, there had to have been a point in your life.
Do over here.
Yeah, distraction. Total. And by the way, at that moment in time, like the 2000s, like 2010s, 2000s, I mean, prime time for distraction, right? Like there must have been a time where you couldn't even go to a grocery store, right? Because you were on the cover of everything.
Those were the days, yeah. Now it's
fine.
no one cares. No, it's like people say, do you mind if like, you know, you walk in somewhere and people rush to take your picture? It's like it's way worse when they don't, you know. Oh my God, what happened? No one asked for anything. Fuck. What's going on? Got to write a better song. Got to take responsibility. Maybe that last show wasn't as good as I thought. So, you know, yeah. It's a funny one. I mean, it's like everything, you know, probably really good to just not take it too seriously, but people do take it really seriously. The other one is like how people take things personally so much, you know, and look at comments. I mean, it's really good. I mean, Jesus Christ, I wouldn't want to look at some of my comments. I just don't look. So I don't look.
But that's kind of the new grocery store, right? Like because the age of the magazine is not even of today anymore.
Yeah.
Like that $1 million paparazzi photo, like I think they do exist, but it's a very concentrated amount of people where it, like, and even that, I just think a photo is going to go for what it used to go. It's crazy.
Yeah.
Times are different.
It's super different. And the thing is about it is to be fluid about it and not be disconnected from it. I like to think of like, you know, think of someone like Bruce Lee, how they would go through life and just be like water and just be and just let it happen and just not fight anything. It's a very strange time to be alive, but it's an incredible time. We're so desensitized. That's the problem is that, you know, I mean, it's like now, obviously everyone is very focused on Israel and Israel's treatment of Palestine and all of that's going on. Meanwhile, there's a war in the Ukraine where people are still legitimately dying and stuff like that. And it's a really terrible thing, but you get war fatigue. You just get the time. It's just not as dominating of the news as it was because you just get inured to it.
Mm-hmm. It's so, by the way, it's like one war versus another war for attention. And it's terrible that we have to even deal with either one of them.
Yes. It's a real shock.
You can listen to Bush's album, the greatest hits album, plus the entire discography waiting for you on Amazon Music. Final thoughts, Dan?
We covered a lot.
We did.
Yeah.
You're an icon, man. Thanks for hanging out.
Thanks for having me.
You like that title? An icon? You like that title?
It's an incredible compliment. So yes, I like it. It's very complimentary, and I'm English, so it's a difficult one to hold, but I'll take it. Oh, I mean, it's a very nice thing to say. Thank you.
It's true. Appreciate you. Gavin Rossdale, everybody.
Thank you.